a little bit of a testimony what the Lord's been doing in my life. I'll just share a little bit. Started back in 2019. From 2018 to 2019, me and my wife were praying. We were at an event, and I said, Nastya, I think the Lord is leading us into business. So all of 2019, we took the risk. I remember that day, we took the risk, and we tried multiple different businesses throughout 2019. Just from online businesses, well, that's what mostly was, because I was trying to do two businesses at once. And ending 2019, going into 2020, I had this vision to go into full-time online businesses. I was trying to generate a passive source of income to create freedom and more time to create impact in this world for our family. I just felt like that's what the Lord was calling us to do, because I didn't want to live a life worrying about where money would come from. Going into 2019, I hired different mentors from different platforms, invested a lot of money into training, going into starting an online store, and going into 2019, since I was in the industry of HVAC, I said I'd go on my own to work part-time there to create enough funds so I can continue with my online store. Little did we know that the Lord had a whole nother plan. So going into 2020, January 2nd, 2020, I went and created my first LLC, known as Topline Mechanical. And that day, January 2nd, I walked into the supply house. I didn't know anyone, and I walked in and I said, hey, my name is Sam. I just launched a company, and I'd like to make an account here. And then there happened to be a sales guy there that day. And he's like, well, if you ever need anything, I'm right here. So I said, awesome. I took the card. I still have it. And I held on to that card like it was $1,000. I was like, or $1 million, I should say. I was like, man, okay, I gotta call this guy. So fast forward a few months later, it's end of February. This whole time that this is all happening, inside my heart, I just feel this burning that I need to go. I need to quit my job. I have to do this. It's this peace. There's unknown. I have no idea, no business degree. I have no idea how to hire. I have no idea what even to do, how to grow a company. I have no idea how to even handle finances. I don't even do finances in my house. My wife did. I had no idea how to do anything, but I just knew that I have to launch a business. Going into February, I quit my job. Looked into this area. There's over 100 competitors. I didn't know where to start. But I had this idea that I need to go into digital marketing. So I decided to go on Facebook, and I find this digital marketing guy. And I was like, oh, here's another guru. So, because I found that there's a lot of fake people online, and I went and I found this guy lives locally. And I said, there is no way. And I found out he's a believer as well. So I reached out to him and said, hey, bro, my name's Sam. I'm starting a company. I want to talk to you. He calls me. We start talking, and he goes, well, how'd you get hit with my advertisement? I said, well, I just seen on Facebook. He's like, huh, that's weird. I have Pennsylvania blocked off. He does marketing for around the whole U.S., but he doesn't market in this area because he was saving room for him to start his own company in a few years, and he didn't want to hire another company to do marketing here because he didn't want to go against his own people that he's working for. But somehow I got hit with his ads, so I targeted. He's like, okay, well, when I get back from Florida, we can talk. But something inside, I was like, man, I don't feel like waiting for him because he has a team that does all the work. So I opted into his team, and his team signed me up, and he sold me on the contract. And he was telling me this later on. He went to his team and said, why'd you guys sell it to him? And his whole goal is he didn't want anyone else to be in this area. Well, this whole time when I was starting my company, Me and my wife, I kept telling her, I can't do this on my own. We need a partner. I need a partner. Let's pray for a partner. Well, here my business took off with him. I joined him for 2 months. I was on my own. It took off. We were staying busy. And then we ended up talking together, and it was, things came in agreement, and we ended up partnering together. So from June till, what is it now? It's November. We ended up partnering, and through a pandemic, we just hired our 17th employee in the company. And with plenty of room to grow. And my whole heart, I was telling Nasha, I said, Nasha, there's so many people reaching out, the poor, the sick, the broken, which is awesome. I said, but there's CEOs out there that need to be reached. There's people that have all the funds, they have everything else, but they don't have their soul saved. Within these 5 months, I got to sit at the table with multiple leaders of corporations with different levels, and just to share through, and people asking, how'd you do this? And I got to share the testimony of Christ working through this. Little, I don't know, months later, the sales guy that met me January 2nd, me and him were talking. $1 million card right here. So me and him were talking. So he started sharing his heart to me. And he said, so how'd you do it? And I started sharing him my thing. He's like, I see it. He's like, there's no other way. It's possible. It had to be the Lord. I said, bro, it is only the Lord. He's like, yeah, I'm a believer, but I'm not active. I said, bro, I said, dude, you can't do life without it. We're sharing, we're talking. And he goes, you know what? I guess I would share with you. And he started sharing with me. So at this time, when the whole pandemic happened, he's a sales guy, so he gets paid on commission. So his prime time is throughout the summer, is when he gets his prime bucket of cash for his income. Well, here the pandemic hit, so most of his contractors had no work. So he just bought a house. He put all his money into his house. He had a mortgage to pay, and he had zero income coming in. He said, at that time, I said a prayer, Lord. He's like, I had to say a prayer to the Lord. Lord, send me someone that's going to help me put food on the table. And our company did, in the months in June and July, we became he has 70 contractors. We became his #1 contractor in producing income by not just a little, by multitudes, multiples. It was enough to cancel out. He lost contractors, and we made up for more than enough. We became, in June and July, we became, out of all of the states of Pennsylvania, we became the top 5. In the months of June and July, we were the top 5 producer for the company that we are using in products in HVAC. We became selling top 5 in the month of June and July. I was sitting on the phone with manufacturer of our equipment, and he's asking me, how did you guys do this? How do you guys do this? We've never seen something like this. And I'm sitting here and if only they knew the truth, fully, in grace. I'm no business degree, nothing. But the whole thing is, this seed was planted a year ago, this desire. Guys, there's no greater place in life than to partner. Can you imagine, guys, you're partnering with someone that's all-knowing? Can you imagine we're partnering with someone that knows everything, who knows when to invest, if you're in business, when to invest and when to pull out, what to speak to your family, how to love your neighbor, what to do with your life, true wisdom. And in reality, he knows what's best for you and what you're created for. Why would we hold ourselves back from that? Why would we fight against? Why would we live a life competing against one another? Who can climb the ladder faster? Who can get this place? Why we build a life to create a label? Why? What's the point of that? I'm telling you, there is this beauty when we believe that we are chosen
And we believe that what He has done for us is not just to free us from sin, but He has called us for something greater. He's calling us for greatness. He's calling us. There's a reason why He chose to dwell in us instead of animals, where He could have poured out His Spirit on anything, but He poured it out on us. And we're made in His image. There's something that He has created in each and every single one of you. So the greatness about this testimony, yeah, it's cool with the Lord, this and that, but there's nothing more beautiful than sharing and watching other people see the hand of God working, that it's alive, that the God of impossible is able to do the impossible. The God of the impossible is able to give you leadership. Through that, I was able to develop, I said I had no idea with finances. We were able to develop different departments like this in months. We were able to develop different strategies. The company was shifting within the culture. Just things are happening. We get to minister to the company, different employees that are not saved. We get to minister the gospel. It's just beautiful. But in all of this, there's one thing that I can say is that His plan is always better. His ways are always higher. And the peace and where you get to be along the journey and who you become is far more worth it. That's why it's worth it to lay down our lives. That's why it's worth it to just say, Lord, what do you have for me? That's why it's so important to chase your dreams. Because I believe when we're in His presence and we lay down our lives in Him, what happens? He begins to partner with us. There's a reason why we dream the things we dream. There's a reason why we dream to impact the nations. There's a reason why we dream to impact the corporate world, the business world, the creative world, the media world, whatever, the political world, whatever it is. There's a reason for all of that. There is a reason for that. It's not something that we do in life. It's a part of who we are in Christ. And if one thing I could say is, don't settle. Don't settle to logic. Don't settle to qualifications. Do not settle for what everyone told you to do. Settle what He has called you for. There's a dream in you. There's a dream that He's placed in. There's a seed He placed in every single one of us. There is one. And the way people ask, well, how do you do it? Like taking all your finances, I was the only source of income, and just risking it for knowing that you might not make it. It's like I have nothing to lose. My faith was, I died to myself so much that I was living by faith. I wasn't living by the source of income. I was living by faith. And I said, Lord, give me the peace to make this move. And He was there. Kid you not, He was there. And we see it all along, and the team is seeing it. And that's one thing I say, guys, is don't limit to what you can achieve. And